The Catcher in the Rye is the most challenged and censored books ever. It is on the list of the most challenged books from the years 1990 to 1999. In the years 1961 to 1982, it was the most censored books. It is due to vulgar language, sexual references, moral codes, and much more. In 1960, a teacher from Oklahoma was fired for having his class read the book. In 1975, it was removed from the class in Pennsylvania. In 1977, it was challenged in New Jersey. It was challenged and removed in Waterloo, Iowa. J.D. Salinger, the author of the book, was in the military right before he wrote this book. He was even hospitalized afterwards for having a nervous breakdown, so obviously it had some effect on him. If you compare the life of the author to the main character Holden, there are definitely some similarities. He flunked out of school and so did Holden. The women in Salinger's life did not really like him and paint him as a very controlling and bad guy. That is one of the main reasons I do not like Holden, the main character, because I don't like the way he treats women. In a way, this book could very well be the same thoughts that ran through Salinger's mind as he was writing the book. Anyway, I put on my new hat and sat down and started reading that book, Out of Africa. I read it already, but I wanted to read certain parts over again. I had read only about 3 pages though, when I heard someone coming through the shower curtains. Even without looking up, I knew right away who it was. It was Robert Ackley, this guy that roomed right next to me. There was a shower in between every 2 rooms in our wing, and about 85 times a day, old Ackley barged in on me. He's probably the only guy in the whole dorm, besides me, that wasn't down at the game. He hardly ever went anywhere. He was a very peculiar guy. He was a senior, and he'd been at Pensley for the whole 4 years and all, but nobody ever called him anything except Ackley. Not even Herb Gale, his own roommate, ever called him Bob, or even Ack. If he ever gets married, his own wife will probably call him Ackley. He was one of those very, very tall, round-shouldered guys. He was about 6'4", with lousy teeth. The whole time he roomed next to me, I never once saw him brush his teeth. They always looked mossy and awful, and he damn near made you sick if you saw him in the dining room with his mouth full of mashed potatoes and peas or something. Besides that, he had a lot of pimples. Not just on his forehead or his chin, like most guys, but all over his whole face. And not only that, he had a terrible personality. He was also sort of a nasty guy. I wasn't too crazy about him, to tell you the truth. I could feel him standing on the shower ledge, right behind my chair, taking a look to see if Stradler was around. He hated Stradler's guts, and never came in the room if Stradler was around. He hated everyone's guts, damn near. He came off the shower ledge and came in my room. "Hi," he said. He always said it like he was terribly bored or terribly tired. He didn't want you to think he was visiting you or anything. He wanted you to think he'd come in by mistake, for God's sake. "Hi," I said, but I didn't look up from my book. With a guy like Ackley, if you looked up from your book, you were a goner. You were a goner anyway, but you were quick if you didn't look up right away. Many people can relate to this book. There are people like this all over the world. People try and pretend that they don't exist, and that's why they don't want people to read that book. But they need to accept the reality that nothing is perfect in this world, and there are many Holden Caulfields out there. Even if I didn't enjoy the book myself, I believe that people should have the right to read this book.